Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys very much for being here today. I appreciate it, and I hope you are all doing well. We are going to do a little bit of fishing, and then we will head out into Elwyn Forest. Lael, Monica, Mendy, Devin, Daniel, Robert, Roz, DeFoley, Wellodan, welcome. Good morning, guys. Thank you all for being here. Lael, that's awesome, man. Dylan, is it worth getting back into the game right now? Yeah, I feel like it's always worth getting into the game. Like, if you're interested and you have time, then yeah, absolutely. That being said, it's impossible to gauge worth for another person. Like, I don't know what's going to be worth it to you, or you know, how you value your time compared to using that time to do other things. But yeah, if you have free time and you have desire, then it's definitely worth it. It's kind of a golden age of Classic. As far as a server, it depends on what version of WoW you want to play. Like right now we're playing Classic Era Classic. This is not hardcore, this is not SOD, this is not Wrath of the Lich King. So Classic Era Classic, like the cool thing about Classic Era Classic is it doesn't really matter what realm you pick because the realms are clustered together. So like, it's like a realm cluster, so you'll see people from different realms when you're playing Classic Era Classic. Now if you're playing Wrath of the Lich King Classic, then you'll probably want to look up some population numbers and make sure that the server you land on is like swayed towards your faction. Yes, it's Classic, Classic, Classic. It's not Classic Plus, it's Classic Minus. Yeah, we've taken away all the things that got added and boiled it down into Classic Minus. Classic with no plus. Yeah. All right, fishing is still one of the hardest things for me to do. Let's equip our weapons and let's go get into things. It's hard for me to spend too much time fishing. I need to start fishing more, like before I even fire up the stream. It's not a Realm Reborn Classic. Here we go. Yeah. WoW Classic plus a Realm Reborn. That's probably fine. A little bit of housekeeping. You might notice that we look a little bit different. I did do some shopping on the auction house. I was also gifted a couple of low-level weapons, so we have a level 11 sword now. We have a level 13 sword waiting for us. But I picked up the veteran armor, I picked up veteran gloves, soldier's girdle of the monkey, and the veteran leggings. There were no boots that I could find, there were no bracers in our level range. There aren't like a ton of items at lower levels. So, yeah, I got what I could. It'll be a little bit of a power boost. We have potions, we have our defense potions, we got some strength potions, we have some buff food, I got a couple of lesser healing potions. I want to put the smaller ones out on the bar. What else? What else? I also trained skinning and herbalism, so we are not capped out on those anymore. And I think that's it. That's everything. I bought the brilliant small fish recipe. We'll go ahead and learn that now. Mr. Chewy, good morning. I think the veteran gear lail is like crafted gear. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was on the auction house, so I think the veteran stuff, maybe it's crafted gear, but I really don't know. It could be from a vendor. It could be from a vendor. They could be turning around and selling it on the auction house. That I'm not sure of. So yeah, I think everything we have going on here has us heading out all the way to the east. So it's going to be a little bit of a run. I think what I'll do is I'll kind of cut across country here. What is this? Oh, warrior training. Yeah, I should probably... Eventually, I should do one of the warrior quests. I'm not in a big rush to have defensive stance, but it would be good to have it eventually.
Well met. See you around.
I think I am going to go ahead and set the Hearthstone here. Right now we're set over at the Thunder Brew Distillery. That's not going to help out a lot over this way.
Hey there. See you around. Looking for something specific? See you later.
How's the music volume this morning, guys? Somebody told me yesterday it was loud, so I turned it down a little bit. Sounds good. Perfect, and then I'll stop playing around with it then. Try to leave it where it's at. It's weird sometimes, like, I put my headphones on, I fire up the game, and stuff just sounds different than it sounded yesterday. We already explored the mine. I'm pretty sure that I remember exploring the mine. Yeah, we already did that. Yeah, weird stuff's been happening with my sound ever since I installed the Logitech G Hub. Logitech G Hub was the end of, like, my sanity when it comes to sound settings. Like, my audio does stuff now that it never used to do. Like, when things are in focus or out of focus, it adjusts the volume. Like, strangely, if I come over here and I click on OBS, clicking out of the game and onto OBS increases, like, how loudly I hear the game sounds. If I come back and I click into the game, it slightly decreases how loudly I hear the game sounds. You'd think it'd be opposite. You'd think it would increase the sounds of the thing that's in focus. But, like, right now when I click out into OBS, the volume goes up. I click back into the game and the volume goes down. It's incredibly weird and counterintuitive. What are the pants? The pants are the veteran leggings. Yeah, we got veteran leggings and veteran chest plate, so we kind of match. Veteran gloves. I'm pretty sure it's a crafted set. Nice, level 12. If I realized we were this close to level 12, I probably would have dinged it somewhere where we could actually train level 12. Talent point, we're going to keep going into cruelty. Increase that chance to crit. Alright, so let's go after the guy's body. We should be able to fight the Murlocs off now. And then we need a bunch of Prowlers. Yeah, I like this sword. It looks like Ned Stark's sword from Game of Thrones TV series. It's almost like Buster Sword level of like thickness. I don't know if thickness is the right term to describe a sword. Width? I don't know. I feel so bad. This guy had the misfortune of giving me might right as I aggroed these murlocs. Like, he mighted me right as the murlocs aggroed, and they ran right past me. They let me complete the quest objective, and they ran right to him. There we go. I'll throw him a thank you. Thank you for your trouble. And yeah, we got the quest, so that's good. Now we're looking for wolves. What's my favorite version of WoW? We are currently playing my favorite version of WoW. Yeah. Vanilla, for me, vanilla is the best version of the game. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy other versions. But yeah, vanilla's the best. Alex, welcome to the stream, man. Happy Sunday. Thanks for being here. Buffalo Bill, good morning to you. Welcome to the stream. It's almost going to be sad when we start dual wielding, because we're probably not going to see like these enormous crits that we're seeing. Maybe I'll try to do a Fury build that does not involve dual wielding. I don't know if that's like viable at all. It would probably be okay while leveling. I just think if I go like dual wield, I'm going to miss the big crits. Blood Moon, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the swords. Thanks for the potions. I appreciate it. Not to mention the bags. Green Goblin, good morning to you. Yep, we're back to vanilla. Back to the best version of the game. No plus, all minus. Yeah, that's true. You know, playing Vanilla Era, especially playing Vanilla Era now, there's like zero pressure to do anything specifically. You know, you're not in a rush for max level. There's really like, it's just really chill. Yeah, there's no pressure. There's nothing really to worry about too much or to think about too much. You can just log in and play and have a good time. I like the idea that I can take a character on an uninterrupted journey and I don't have to worry about like fluff. I don't have to worry about like systems changing all of a sudden or like classes changing or updates or any of that stuff. Yeah, it's not a rush to 60 or a grind for pre-bis. And I don't ever have to log. Sounds like a win. I plan on like focusing on this character till this character gets capped. There's not really a lot else in the immediate future that I have a big interest in. And this has just been like a lot of fun. It's been like the right kind of like chill, relaxing fun that I really look for when playing WoW. Has there been a series where I got the level cap? Yeah, we've gotten a few characters to level cap. I've gotten a human paladin to level cap. I got a blood elf paladin to level cap. I've gotten a retail shaman to level cap. I got a sod pally maxed out at 40 because right now 40 is the level cap. Yeah, I've got plenty of characters in my life to level cap. Don't worry. It's okay. I've never logged once in my life, and I've raided a bunch. That's less acceptable these days, but... That's what I hope to do, Alex. I'd love to get this character to 60 and then feel sort of carried through some raids. I'd be okay with it. At this point, I'd be okay with it. I realized that, like, you know, part of me didn't think that I liked the bigger raid sizes. Like, part of me didn't think that I liked the 25-man raids or the 40-man raids. But the more I think about it, like, when you have a big raid size, I feel like that lets you not be as focused on people having their pre-raid bis. I feel like having a bigger raid size doesn't make you focus on like only bringing classes that are part of the meta. I feel like a larger raid size just allows you to like bring players. Like you just bring players, they got a max level character, you bring them, they're in the raid and they help out or they die right away and then you still kill the boss. So I've kind of had like a shifting philosophy the last couple days about like raid sizes and why like a bigger raid size is probably better for players in Classic Era. I spent 2 hours last night rating out all my thoughts about sod. And I'm gonna make this video, and I'm hoping it goes out sometime at the end of the week. That way, when people ask me like, "What do I think about sod? How do I feel about sod? Is sod good? Do I like sod?" I can just point them to the thoughts video, and I can stop repeating like the same ideas on the stream every day. But yeah, I worked on that for like 2 hours, and part of that realization was like, oh yeah, like a bigger raid size could probably like stop a lot of like. Just a lot of the elitism, a lot of the feeling like, oh, I have to play to the meta. If you're not a class that's in the meta, we can't invite that class. Just give me a 40-man raid size at this point. Let us zerg the boss, and some people will fall by the wayside. Other people will rise as heroes, and the boss will die, and it'll be a fun time. Dane, what you wanted out of Classic Plus was a focus on leveling and the world, but with a bit more class complexity and balance. But the rune system and max level content focus didn't hit that mark for me. Exactly, man. You nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have wanted. Yeah, I would have wanted a season of Classic that more focuses on the journey. And I would have loved for them to just hold off on all those raids until level 60. Like, sure, let's do a BFD raid and a Nomergon raid and a Scarlet Monastery raid. But let's just do them at level 60. That way, like, we can focus on leveling, we can focus on the journey. And then I think having some systems, like having like the Waylaid Supplies and stuff like that could be cool for the journey. You know, that's like some kind of like new content that you could do along the way. I feel like making up like new world bosses, new rare spawns could have been a good plus to the journey. And then they could have done some things like maybe you take certain areas in the game and you make them into elite areas. Like, don't tell anybody about it, you just take certain areas, all of a sudden those enemies are elites. And now you could take groups through there and you can grind up XP in the world in these elite areas. Like, stuff like that would have been cool, like content being added to kind of like help the journey feel slightly different, but still with a big focus on the journey. Obviously with the level banding and the small one-shot raids, like, yeah, it's just a big focus on endgame content, like a continual focus on endgame content. Endgame 25, endgame 40, endgame 50. And that's part of what I'll talk about in the video, is that it's really weird to me that a season of Classic Era Classic almost seems like it appeals more to people who are endgame players in places like retail. It has a lot more to do with a retail experience than it does with a Classic experience. Like, when I think about your average Classic Vanilla Era player, that player is more interested in like open world stuff and in the journey and in leveling than they are in like raid logging and stuff like that. But yeah, it seems like this season really hit its mark more with people who are endgame focused, people who are like log focused and performance focused, and that's not really what I think of when I think of like the average vanilla enjoyer. Let's head back here. But yeah, I'm gonna make the video, talk about everything, and then I can just kind of point people to that whenever they ask me how I feel about SOD. Yeah, they could have had the level up raids and without capping the levels. Like, yeah, you can have those raids, but just still don't cap my level progress. Time gating is kind of the worst. Like, I don't even like time gating in retail when they time gate like story chapters. You know, like you play the first story chapter, it's 20 minutes. Now you gotta wait a week for the next 20-minute segment, and then a week for the next. Like, I don't even like it when it comes to gating my quest progress. I definitely don't like time gating when it comes down to gating my actual, like, character leveling up. Will I play Plunderstorm today? No, I think my Plunderstorming days are probably over. I had fun in Plunderstorm, don't get me wrong. We got Renown level 10. I'll probably never use any of the cosmetics or mounts that I acquired. I had a good time. It's obviously like niche content that only a small handful of people are very interested in. When they make a Vampire Survivors minigame, I will play the crap out of that. Yeah. When they do Vampire Survivors in WoW, I'll play like hundreds of hours of it, don't worry. The Battle Royale was fun. It kind of like, it got me in the mood though to where I was thinking like if I want to do PvP, then there's probably like better games for me to do that in, you know? Marlena, happy Sunday. Welcome to the stream. I think a lot more people would be interested in a Vampire Survivors like minigame than they are a Battle Royale. Like, the cool thing about Battle Royale is that it can pull some people to WoW that maybe never would have checked out WoW. Like, that's pretty cool. But I feel like Vampire Survivors would probably hit its mark more with like the existing player base. My favorite class slash faction. You're probably looking at it. Yeah, you're probably looking at like one of my favorites. Also the paladin. So like human or dwarf, paladin or warrior are probably like for vanilla era especially. Once we get into TBC, like blood elves are the best race. But for vanilla era, it's dwarves or humans. Castle defense. That sounds cool. I haven't played a good tower defense game in a long time. What was the last one I played? Pixel Heroes? Does that sound right? Man, the last time I played a tower defense was with my buddy. Like, there was a game we played back on, like, I think it was the PS3 that we played this thing on. It was like multiplayer, like couch co-op. I thought it was called Pixel Heroes or something. That was a lot of fun. It would be funny for them to put in like an RTS minigame into World of Warcraft. Introducing our new concept. RTS. Zoom way out and control many units and send them against other units in this brand new game type. The RTS. That'd be funny. Like they just just put Warcraft 3 into WoW. Done. Add competitive multiplayer. Add a bunch of maps. Add random maps. Add map of the week maps. Have an entire like level, like a lineup progression where you can unlock stuff for your like in-game units in that mode, like cosmetics and stuff. Yeah, let's put the RTS back into Warcraft by making it a minigame.
Can I help you? Have a good one. Farewell.
Is Classic Era still decently populated? It's okay. Yeah, like the cool thing about Classic Era servers is that they're connected. So you're not just stuck with the players that happen to be like on your actual server. You can see people from like your entire server cluster. So like it results in like no matter what, it doesn't feel completely depopulated. And I have this feeling that, you know, like as SOD drags on and like we're waiting for Cata and stuff like this, I feel like more people are going to come back to Vanilla Era. Especially once Cata's been out for a little bit and people have had their taste of Cataclysm, and they kind of will start tasting like the retail essence of Cataclysm after a while, I think, and like that won't appeal to everybody. And you know, between Cataclysm and how SOD is so like endgame focused, I feel like eventually you're gonna see a re-influx of people coming back to Vanilla Era. Not to do hardcore, not to do solo self-found, just to come back and play the game in its best version. They should merge the low pop servers. Yeah, like clustering them together is almost the same thing. Like, yeah, instead of shutting down servers and merging them together, they're just like play where you want and we will just connect the servers together. I wish they would use this same kind of technology for like Wrath of the Lich King, because that's a game that actually does feel dead while you're trying to level up through it.
Honor, friend. Or the Alliance.
It's probably not dead at endgame, but like the leveling process is. This takes us right back out to the logging camp. I don't think we're gonna do that right now. Although we do have bounty on Murlocs. Maybe we will go do this stuff, and then we can hearth back, and then we can tackle the stuff over at Westbrook Garrison. Or, a better idea, let's go do the stuff at the Garrison. Maybe the gold schedule drops. And that'd be good. Let's train level 12. That'd be really smart too, and we can empty the inventory.
What can I do for you? around.
Need help?
Yeah, and they said that the leveling in Cataclysm was going to be much faster than it was originally. So yeah, it is that thing where, like, as there is more endgame content to do, the game shifts its focus away from leveling content. And then most of the focus, both like in the development space and in the community, lies within that endgame space. And so, like, if you're not really an endgame player, like, you kind of lose out. The cool thing is, like, you know, they have tools for solo players, you know, to let you enjoy endgame. You can do, like, you're looking for group. For your hard 5-mans, you can do looking for raid eventually in Cataclysm. So it's not like solo players were, like, excluded. But a solo player and someone who just prefers, like, the leveling journey, that's a little bit different. Like, you can be a solo player that likes endgame. Or you can be a solo player that really just prefers the journey. And yeah, despite the revamp in Cataclysm, you know, they changed the entire old world, but it's like if you level a character through, you're not going to see a lot of the old world because you're going to be leveling up so fast that you're only going to visit a fraction of the zones that you might have visited back in, like, the vanilla era. It's almost like a world revamp is wasted in a version of the game where leveling is quick. That's kind of why I worry about, like, the world revamp in retail. It's like, unless you force players into that content, like, so many people are not going to see it because the leveling process is so fast that, like, no one's going to level up in all those zones unless they go way out of their way to do so. Yeah, well, I don't get why you'd play Classic for endgame. Yeah, like, I've had that same thought. I think I've said on stream before that if I really, really wanted to be an endgame focused player, that I would do that in retail. I would do my endgame focus, like, content, like, in the version of the game that is super focused on it, that there's always going to be new endgame stuff coming out. That way, like, I take my gear from Raid A, I take that gear and I go right into Raid B, and then I gear up in Raid B, and then I take that gear right into Raid C. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I wanted to be, like, a super focused endgame player, I would probably do that in retail. There would be more reward to do it in retail. There would be more content for me in retail. The content that I would do in retail the new content would always be new to me, which obviously in a classic space is not always the case. So yeah, I agree with that. If I ever get, like, super into endgame, it will probably be, like, in a retail version of the game. It didn't happen with Dragonflight, but, you know, maybe War Within. Zenwin, thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here, and welcome.
Light be with you, for the Alliance. Be careful.
I think, like, the way I tend to approach endgame and classic is kind of what I did with BFD, which is, like, it was cool to see the raid a couple times. It was cool to see the BFD, like, as a raid. It was cool to see a couple of the bosses, but, like, ultimately I didn't have the desire to, like, push that content. It wasn't interesting enough to me, and I just didn't care enough. And in Cataclysm, I'll check out the raids, you know, because I only really remember Firelands, so I'll check out the raids, but I'm probably never going to have the desire to farm raids week after week after week in a classic version of the game. And a lot of it is because, like, there are better reward tracks for my time in retail. Like, if I wanted to spend a bunch of time at max level, there are better reward tracks, there are better rewards, there's better progression. The systems are more, like, geared towards endgame, like, just complete endgame focus in retail. So it's like, I would probably, like, rather spend my time there if I wanted to raid week after week after week after week. And also, I feel that, you know, like, retail endgame has enough content that if you're a solo player in retail and you want to log into your character, like, every day or a few times a week and actually have stuff to do besides raid log, like, you have enough stuff to do. You know, between world quests and other activities, like, there's enough stuff in retail that you can log in consistently on one character, you can have a main, and you can feel like I can log in every day and there's meaningful things for me to do. Whereas, like, for endgame in Classic, like, after a certain point, a lot of it is just, like, it's like raid logging. Like, yeah, you can go farm gold, I guess. But besides that, you're probably just gonna raid log. If we come across Hogger, I'm pretty sure that I can kill him. Shouldn't be a problem. "40-man raids are tough to organize." I feel like these days with a 40-man raid, the way to go is just to spam invite a bunch of people. You know, like with a 40-man raid, like, not everybody has to be in their bis, not everybody has to be, like, in the meta. Especially because, like, these days, like, players themselves are just, like, so much better at playing the game and understanding what's going on. That I feel like with a 40-man raid, like, you just invite a drove of people, like, you probably have to pug a bunch of them unless you got a big guild. You just invite a bunch of people and you go, like, try to steamroll a boss. I don't know. Because all I see in, like, the smaller raid groups now, like, especially looking at, like, what Season of Discovery has become, is I just see a bunch of people. They want you to have logs, they want you to have gear from the content that you're trying to do already. Like, they want your gear score to be such that you've actually already cleared the raid multiple times before they let you into the raid. You have to be a class that's part of the meta, because if you're like a DPS ret pally, like, nobody wants you. And that's kind of what we got with smaller raid sizes. We just got, like, we got more elitism with smaller sizes. Do you want to invite, bro? You don't want to invite. You're about to get killed level 1. Love you, though. I need to pop a potion. Let's wait a minute. And then we'll pop this potion. There we go. Nice. That's a nice crit. Kill this guy. We got a couple guys on us. Our buddy here is just trying to, like, round up guys for us. He's being quite a pal. We'll take our leave here at this point. Alex, you've seen more toxic people in Sob than you've seen in all of Wrath and hardcore experiences. Yep. Yeah, it's hard to speak to stuff like that because, like, everybody's subjective experience is going to be different. Like, I experienced the same thing. But it's so easy, like, you'll say that, and then somebody who is, like, you know, they're probably one person that's part of the problem. They'll be like, no, I've never experienced anything like that. Everybody that I've encountered has been awesome. And then I think, well, you're probably one of the people who are demanding BIS and demanding gear score and demanding, like, the achievements. And, like, you might be if you're having a better experience than me, that might be because you're part of my problem. Because, yeah, I think, like, to me, anytime the game gets to that point where people are very, very focused on, like, what your gear score is, you know, they're very focused on what gear you have. They're, like, especially with logging, they're very focused on, like, what are your logs like. I think that just kind of creates, like, a not a very pleasant environment for the average player. Unless you're somebody that really loves like logging and like that's your thing, like for the average player, I don't think it creates a very fun environment. Amar, thanks so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Very generous of you. Thanks for being here. Sod is not pleasant if you're not in a guild. Yes, exactly. See, in phase 1, you know, I was mainly playing on Lone Wolf with the guild. And so phase 1, like, I didn't see a lot of the problems that I saw in phase 2, because in phase 2, I leveled by myself over on Wild Growth. And, like, a lot of that experience was, like, ooh, the gold schedule. A lot of that experience was pure, like, dungeon grind, and that's when I really started to see, like, some of the underbelly, like, the bad parts of what was going on that I didn't really appreciate. But yeah, if you're in a guild, then you can have a good experience. But if you're a solo player trying to, like, do dungeons and do raids, like, good luck. You're gonna be able to do it, I think, but like it's some of your experiences that you have are not gonna really be great. Getting, yeah, the runes, yeah. I'm gonna talk about all this stuff in my video. Yeah, the runes, they were like, they structured the season with the concept that they wanted people to run a bunch of alts. That's something that they said. They said they wanted people who didn't have a lot of time, they wanted them to be able to feel like they could catch up. And then people that did have a lot of time, they wanted an environment where you could run a bunch of alts. Who wants to run a bunch of alts and collect 30 runes for every character? The rune acquisition was why I stopped playing alts. It's why I stopped engaging with the season. This rune acquisition was not very exciting. It was not very fun. And it felt mandatory. Like I want my spellbook to be complete. When I max out my character at any cap, like ideally my spellbook would just be complete. I would have all my class abilities. But that's not really how it works with runes. People were listing their best gear just to run some dungeons. Yeah, when you're worried about what gear you have to do a Scarlet Monastery Cathedral, then you know it's like, that's a bad space to be in. You know, and ultimately the problem is like SOD is good for what it is. Like if you're in a great guild, if you're an endgame focused player, if you love to raid log, if you love doing the same raid 3 times a week, then SOD is really great for you. You can do that repetitious endgame content over and over again. You can get your big logs and your colorful parses, and you can be an E champion, and you can just feel like really good about yourself. But like that doesn't feel like Classic Era. That kind of gameplay, just like ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't have anything to do with Classic Era. It's like they took the Classic Era and then they put like retail design right on top of Classic Era and then grafted it together. And that, you know, for me, like Season of Mastery was a much better leveling model for a Season of Classic Era. You know, not at the end, but initially when they had a 40% experience buff. It was 40% for the longest time. You weren't stopped at certain level caps. There were no leveling raids. So like the downfall of Season of Mastery was that there was no new content. But as far as like the leveling, it felt good. I think it took us anywhere from 80 to 100 hours of gameplay to cap out my warrior in Season of Mastery. And that felt like a good journey. Like never once were we blowing through content. Never once were we trivializing zones. Like we had a nice long 100-hour journey. And we got to cap. And it was fun. I got a lot of awesome gear on that journey that I never got before. I got the 2 one-handed swords from ZF that I combined to make the epic sword, the 2-hander. I got like an amazing shield in like Lower Blackrock Spire. I had a cool chest piece. Like I like got a lot of cool gear on that character and really enjoyed my time. And yeah, the leveling experience in Season of Mastery was so much better and just felt so much more classic than what they did chopping up SOD. And let's be honest, like, they chopped up SOD into level brackets. Ostensibly, they did this so that people can feel like they're not behind. Guys, I'll tell you, as I played SOD, even at the first level bracket, people would come into the stream and they'd be like, is it too late to start playing? I was like level 20. And people would already come in and they'd be like, is it too late to play SOD? Same thing in the level 40 bracket. People go, is it too late to get in? So like, by creating these artificial level brackets, they did not defeat FOMO. People just have mad FOMO no matter what. It doesn't matter if you stop everybody from leveling every 5 levels. Like, there will be people who will be like, is it worth it still? Is it worth it to start now? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We just started. You can't even get to 60 yet. Of course, what do you mean is it too late? So, but really what they did by having the level bans, they bought themselves development time. Because the content's not done. The content was never done. There was no content made. They did the BFD raid, but they didn't have anything else done. And so the level bans were more for the developers to have time to make changes and to make content than it was ever about, like, helping people feel like they weren't being left behind. People feel left behind after the phase has been open for 5 hours. People feel like they've been left behind. You know, a lot of people will get to level cap in a single day when the phase opens. So, like, people still feel left behind. It didn't do anything to fix FOMO, but it gave them development time to work on their incomplete game. It would be the season of alts if leveling alts didn't suck. Leveling alts sucks in SOD. I love it. Look at my channel. I love leveling alts. I hate leveling characters in SOD. It doesn't feel like a classic journey. Runes are super annoying to get. So you're either like being annoyed going on like these 2-hour journeys to get an ability, or you're just gimping your class by not going after the runes. Waylaid supplies are annoying. Being stopped at level brackets is annoying. Yeah, like, SOD is not fun to really level alts in. I leveled some alts for the first phase, realized how much I hated getting runes for those alts, and then we only got one character to 40, and I won't touch any other characters besides that paladin now. If they had had like a more traditional way to learn your class abilities, and if the discoveries had been something else, then Season of Discovery could have been like a Season of Alts. I think that eventually leveling would have gotten lame anyway, because like, who wants to get momentum on a character just to be stopped artificially for 2 months? That's not a good like leveling experience for Classic. You know, if they'd have let us like just give us our abilities at the trainer, or have the class trainers give us quests. Like, just give us traditional quests. If you want us to go out in the world and get our abilities, and that's where you want some of the new content to be, that's fine, but make it more like a traditional quest. And less like something that I have to have Wowhead open all day to like reference what I'm supposed to be doing. And then the discoveries could have been other stuff. Imagine if the discoveries had been gear, new quest, new elite areas, new crafting recipes, rare spawns, world bosses.
Go with honor, friend.
Gold. Like, imagine if the discoveries had applied more to everybody, if they had not been class specific.
Light bless you.
If they had applied more to everybody, and if there were more of them. You know, like, you open a chest and it gives you a piece of gear for your class. You know, almost like it's like a personal loot chest. You find a chest out in the world, you open it, oh cool, I got an awesome blue for my class. That's awesome. I'm super happy that I explored this area and that I found this chest. And that feels like those discoveries feel optional. You're like, okay, I can explore the world, I can go after some discoveries, I can get gold, I can get loot, I can find quests, I can get rep. Like, all that stuff feels optional, and when it's optional, it's more fun. When it's your class abilities, it becomes mandatory, and like, mandatory shit is hardly ever fun. It's hardly ever like fun to take something, make it super mandatory, and then say, go have fun doing this. It's like, no, it's not fun. I just do it to get it done. Oh, the music got Stormwind music, and it got really loud. Bad Stormwind music. Yeah, like, the only positive thing that anybody ever said to me about runes, when I would ask like how they felt about runes, they would say, well, I get them done, you know. I just get them done. What do you think about runes? I just get them done. Like, no one ever said, oh man, I love rune acquisition. It's so exciting to go out into the world and to find these things and to run around for hours at a time not knowing what I'm doing. Like, no one ever had that feedback for runes. The only endorsements that I ever heard was like, oh, I get them done. You know seasonal content is bad when it makes Season to Mastery look good. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like mainly it's just like the leveling in Season to Mastery was so much better. And it's just because there were no level bans and there were no runes. You just got to level up in Classic Era. You had a little bit of an XP buff. You still had the zone hop and like do all that stuff. But it gave you a little bit of an edge. It really helped in like the level 30s and 40s when otherwise things would start to drag. It helped having the 40% XP buff. And then, you know, like their entire design philosophy for Season of Discovery, like it suddenly changed one day. The plan the whole time was to not offer XP bonuses except for the older phases. That was their entire plan. Like, when a phase is old, it'll get an XP buff. If you're in the current phase, no XP buff. And then one day we wake up and there's 100% XP buff all the way to 40. It's like, oh, okay, so don't play, I guess. Because, like, you know, if I wait, one day there will be a 500% XP buff. Like, I'll just wait. Yeah, the class abilities are great. I think, like, you know, having all the class abilities is great. I just like the way we acquire them. That's why I always say rune acquisition is awful. The runes themselves are fine. Like, I love all the class changes. That's part of the good part of the season. But it's funny, you take like the interesting part of the season and then you merge it with like the worst part of the season, which is actually going out and getting the runes, and it ruins it. Like, I remember sitting there, like, looking at the stuff I would need to get to try to be a melee hunter. I'm like, I'd love to be a melee hunter, but it looks like I have about 4 or 5 hours of collecting runes ahead of me before I can do that. I don't want to. It's not fun. It's not good gameplay, and I don't like it. I should just get it done, but that's not really what I'm looking for in, like, seasonal Classic Era. I'm not looking for content that I just need to get done. Just don't, if the content is just there to get it done, don't make the content. If the content's not fun and interesting and alluring, like, don't even make it that way. Make it different. Anyway, that's my sod rant. You guys are letting me warm up. Later I'm gonna record my sod thoughts video, so I appreciate being able to warm up those thoughts.
Be careful.
I wrote for like 2 hours straight yesterday, which is the longest I've written anything in like 6 or 7 years.
Be careful.
Level 13, we're making pretty good progress this morning. I don't know, this is not, I think I'm gonna keep the 2 strength, 2 agility actually. It has more armor on it. Yeah, I think that's good.
For the Alliance, go with honor, friend.
If you're talking about like the typical recorded content, usually I record it one day and I put it up the next day. But that's for Let's Plays and stuff. When it comes to content like a thoughts video, like I don't do a lot of content like that, but that usually takes another couple of days of like writing it and getting the footage I want to overlay over the audio and then piecing it together. But the Let's Play stuff, I'll often record it and I'll put it up the next day. Haven't been recording a lot of the recorded series recently though. Mainly we've been focusing on streams. Like getting into more like thoughts videos is like gonna be a way for me just to have like slightly different content up on the channel. And just a way so that when people ask me the same question a lot, I can kind of like refer them to the thoughts video, and that way for people that are here every day, they don't have to hear me rant about the same things every single day when somebody asks. The herbs, I'm gonna keep selling all the herbs. They don't sell for hardly anything on the auction house. The leather, I think I'll hold on to the leather. And we'll try to put that on the auction house at least.
Be careful.
What kind of meat do I have? Let's go do a little bit of cooking. Yeah, a handful of the runes are easy to get. You know, there's a small handful of runes that you can come across naturally in the world that you can figure out like intuitively using context clues. There's like a handful of runes like that. And those runes are okay. It's okay, you come across a guy or a body or an item and you're like, hey, what's this? Like, there's a handful that are like that and they're okay. But like the bigger abilities, the more important abilities, the class changing abilities, like especially the level 40 runes, like all of the level 40 runes, most of them are just stuff that you have to look up a guide to even really know where to begin. Many of them take you into places that your questing journey would never take you, like on the Alliance, like having to go to Stone Talon Mountains to get a couple. Like Stone Talon's not really a place that like my Alliance questing naturally takes me very often. So like I would never be poking around in Stone Talon to find that stuff naturally. And like, you know, if they played the game a little bit more, maybe they would have realized stuff like that. But it seems like they were hidden in out of the way, indecipherable places by design. And so then eventually you do have to go to a resource and you have to look up a guide. I can get the recipe for the Longjaw Mud Snappers, but we have to be cooking level 50 to learn it, so we can learn beer-basted boar ribs and get that out of our inventory. Okay. And we do have another talent point here. Let's pop that into cruelty. Snickle Fritz, good morning to you. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so yeah, let's head back out to the east. We have the gold collector quest now, so that's really good. We'll take on the Murlocs, we'll go after the collector. And then after that, I think we will head back to Dunmorrow to finish up the eastern half of Dunmorrow. Some of the important runes are super expensive. Yeah, they're locked behind like a paywall. True, true. Yeah, I hope that if they ever do another season, which they probably won't do another season for years and years, but if they ever do another season of Classic Era, I would love to see just a focus on the journey. Adding some evergreen content into the journey. And like I would say minimal class changes. Because the Classic Era classes, they're already really good. There are a couple of specs that are like severely underpowered compared to other specs. And they could give those, like, those specs could get a boost. I'm looking at Druids, I'm looking at Shaman a little bit. Like there are a couple of specs that could use a little bit of a boost. But besides that, like I don't know that like big sweeping redesigns are really necessary. I think they could add some content to the leveling journey. Don't stop us from leveling up our characters, and then make a bunch of cool content for level 60. Like make some 10-man raids for level 60. Make some new content for level 60. You want to have a bunch of PvP events spread all over the world? That's awesome. Save all your PvP content for level 60. And then that way people that do get to level 60 and people that want to do more content in the season, they have a bunch of endgame content to do. Because that was kind of where Season of Mastery like fell down, is like the journey was great. You had 40% experience buff, lots of people were playing the game, you got to do 5-mans all the time. You had a big journey that was still like 80 hours to 100 hours, but it felt really good. But then when you got to 60, like unless you wanted to go do like a 40-man raid, there really wasn't a lot for you to do. But if you got to 60 and there was like 3 10-man raids and a bunch of new battlegrounds, well, that could have been content that held people on through the season and encouraged people to level up alts. Yeah, the focusing, having the discoveries in Season of Discovery only be class abilities was just bad. It struck me as bad right away, because like in my mind, I imagined more of what I talked about earlier, where I thought the discovery, even after we knew the discoveries were going to be abilities, I thought there'd be a ton of discoveries, and I thought they'd be things like chest full of gold, a chest full of items, new quest lines that gave good rewards, rare spawns that dropped good loot, world bosses. Like, I thought the discoveries were going to be many, many different smaller things that gave like optional rewards that were fun and interesting to come across. When it turned out that the only discoveries were going to be the mandatory class abilities that you needed to complete your spell book, that stopped being fun, like pretty much immediately.
For the Alliance.
Do we know when the next level band opens up? I don't think so. I don't know when the last level band opened up, but I feel like it's been like a couple of months. Has it been 2 months? Like, yeah, when did phase 2 open? They're doing like 3 months per level band, it seems. When did phase 2 open? Phase 2 went live on February the 8th. So yeah, we still got like time. Even if they're doing like 3 months. Yeah, you're looking at like the middle to end of April. Yeah, for level 50 phase, you're looking at probably the middle or the end of April, which is a long time. Like, I don't know.
King's honor, friend. Go with honor, friend.
And then, you know, like if you're someone like me and all you really want to do is like get a character to 60 and see what they do at 60, like I am probably going to play for 3 days, and it's probably going to take me about 3 days to get from 40 to 50. Especially if they end up having like a big experience bonus like they've had so far. You know, you're going to play for a week, you're going to cap your character out, you're going to sit your character, and you're going to come back to it in 4 more months when the 60 band opens up. Because that's my plan for phase 3. Like, I'm probably not going to do whatever the raid is. I'm probably not going to do whatever the PvP event is. The only thing I'm really, really curious about the season any longer is I'm curious to see what they do at level 60. What kind of content are they going to have at the actual level cap? Because what they've done to leveling, like, the journey's not really there. Like, there is no, like, really good classic journey anymore. So to me, it's just about getting to 60 and then seeing if any of that content is worthwhile for my time. Yeah, I mean, right now we're kind of between things. It's a decent time to not have a sub right now, especially if you've played SOD, if you've played Wrath, and like nothing's really exciting right now. You know, you have some time until the next phase opens up. You have a lot of time until Cata comes out. Like, we're not in like a big lull. Like, there aren't any like really big lulls anymore with the way the release schedule is, but we're in a little bit of a lull, more so than we have been recently. I'm happy for the lull because that means I get to focus on playing Vanilla Era. So this is classic? This is classic minus. Not classic plus, not sod, not Cata, not it's classic minus. We're calling it classic minus now. I should copyright classic minus. Yeah, it could be my thing. We'll see if it catches on. Yeah, we're playing classic minus. Minus all of the shit that got changed and added in every other version of the game. Marson, good afternoon, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by.
King's honor, friend. Light bless you. Go with honor, friend.
Collector's ring. Yeah, we need to go get the collector's ring. Let's do that before I run off and completely forget. We should be able to handle the collector, even if we have to kind of kite him out and like leash the other guys. We'll kill the caster lady first, and then we'll see how we're feeling. At some point I got the rallying cry of the Dragon Slayer. I didn't realize we had this. That's probably why we've been like one-shotting enemies. We'll do some buff food, we'll get our potions going again, and then we'll see. I guess I must have got it while hanging out in Stormwind. Yeah, that buff is definitely helping with all the crits we're getting. Alright, I think now we can go ahead and we can use the Hearthstone. We have no inventory space left anyway. And then we're gonna head back to Dunmorrow.
What are you looking for?
We equipped our sword upgrade, but we went back to having like a practice-looking sword, even though it's an upgrade.
For the Alliance. What can I do for you? Go with honor, friend. Light bless you.
I should probably level up first aid a little bit, at least enough to get heavy linen while we're near a first aid trainer. Let's go ahead and we'll do this. We'll let this run. Dustin, good afternoon, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, a little bit of lag. This is a good time to be doing first aid. We'll see if this balances back out.
Hey there. See you around.
help? Be careful.
Alright, yep, looks like the yeah, lag is fixed now. Now that we've lost half of the folks from the stream, the lag is better. Thank you, YouTube. I appreciate it. Let's go check out this warrior quest while we're here, I guess. Yeah, the stream was doing too well. Oh, it always feels that way. Yeah, it's always at a moment when like we've hit a good stride for the day, we're doing good, we're making progress, we're hanging out. Stream is doing pretty well, and then we get lag. Like it's very consistent. Like the times that lag happens to me,
How are ya?
it's just like just to mess up my day's momentum, basically.
Safe travels. Off with you.
Okay, I don't really know what that did. Let's see. Oh, Verzrek. He is a troll, or he's by the troll area. Like maybe we'll do this one. Yeah, YouTube was like, the stream is doing really well, let me help you with that. Yep, and then it just took a dump all over my stream. If we're gonna head over this way for the warrior quest, we can probably do this elite quest as well. Just so we're doing more than one thing at a time. I don't know if I'm in the right valley. Maybe this way. Yeah, possibly this way.
What's on your mind?
Nothing to it.
Here there. Watch your back. Off with you.
I don't remember exactly where this guy is. I know he is somewhere around the troll cave. But he's like up in the hills. So we'll look around for a little bit. If I absolutely can't find him, I'll turn quest tracking on really quick. Oh, here he is. That was simple enough. I don't know, I can't resist all these skins. I'm gonna run around and skin all of these guys. As long, well, I was gonna say as long as there aren't a bunch of respawns. So I don't really want to fight these guys, they're not worth experience, but I do want the resources. Or we could just kill them in one hit. That works too. It's too quiet. Hey, I like quiet. Not all the time. Alright, I'm gonna set my Hearthstone here, and then we will head out to the east, and we'll do all this stuff.
What can I get for you today? See you soon. What can I do for you? Safe travel. What can I do for you? See you soon.
with you.
Oh, we got a green axe. Severing Axe of the Wolf. Unfortunately, it's not as good as our sword, and we don't have axes trained. How many more times will I be in Ironforge and forget the train? At least twice. Can you play Classic WoW if you don't own the current expansion? Yes, you have to have an active sub, and if you have an active sub, it doesn't matter what version of retail you own. And for your sub, you get access to like all the versions of Classic. So you can play Classic Wrath, you can play Classic Hardcore, you can play Classic Era Classic,
Great to meet you.
you can play Season of Discovery.
Watch your back.
You get a lot of value for your sub.
Be good.
Hi. Watch your back. Hi, off with you. You got my attention.
Well, somebody's here. Somebody's been through here at least. Here we go, level 11 human mage. This might be a little bit more than we can handle, especially if they keep dazing me. Let's pop a potion. Let's let them run around. They'll probably bleed out. Yeah, there they go. Well, that actually worked out okay. Alex, have I seen the new X-Men 97? That's not a random question. I've been watching the I've been rewatching the animated series from the actual 90s first. So I'm like more than halfway through with my rewatch of the original animated series.
Safe travels.
And I'm going to watch all of that before I jump into X-Men 97. So that's what I committed to myself. So yeah, in the evenings I've been letting that run.
What's on your mind?
And yeah, I'm excited to get into X-Men 97. After subjecting myself to like the animations, the audio design, and the artwork from like the old school series for a while now, I'm gonna be like pleasantly delighted to jump in to X-Men 97. And the funny thing is I remember like most of the overall plot points from when I was a kid. And the reason for that is like reruns. Like they played reruns so often that like a lot of the episodes I actually watched like many times. But I was like 12, 13 years old. Yeah, I watched it when it originally aired. So I was like anywhere between 12 and 14, I think, at the time. But I thought I had better just like watch it all again before I jump into things. Sometime next week I should be able to watch the new series, and by then most of the episodes will probably be out. Low level playing again? What's going on here? I'm so confused. It's not that confusing. Yeah, I've heard it's amazing. I'm really excited. I got all the Phase 1 action figures. I haven't got any of the Phase 2 action figures yet, but I do need to get the rest of the new action figures that they released. I used to have those action figures on the shelf behind me, and then my kid appropriated them. And I let him take them because at first I thought that he would play with them a little bit more, but he's not really familiar with the characters or the show, so they sit in one of his toy bins. I think sometime this weekend I'm gonna raid his toy bin. I'm gonna pull them back out and put them back up on my shelf where they belong. Yeah, no spoilers. Right. That should be a given. No spoilers. Is this a hardcore character? No. The description and the title, they pretty much sum it up. Yeah, like if it were hardcore, the hardcore has its own logo. If it were hardcore would be in the title, or it would be in the... You can literally read the description of the stream and that'll tell you everything you need to know. I know it's a lot of reading, and I know that reading is hard, but I did put some effort to like let people know at a glance what version this is. Alright, my wife brought me some scrambled eggs with sausage and cheese, so I am going to turn my camera off for a couple minutes and I'm going to eat this food. I will see you guys on the flip side.
How are you? Be good. Off with you.
I'm gonna head into Loch Modan to get the flight point. And probably to pick up the initial quest. Since we'll probably do that stuff before we head to Westfall.
You got my attention? Be good. Watch your back.
No, be good.
Craig, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing great. Thanks for
Great to
asking.
meet you. Keep your feet on the ground.
Excellent, excellent. Level 14. And that'll be our last point in cruelty. After this, we'll probably grab Unbridled Wrath for 5 points. Gives you an 8% chance to generate an additional rage when you deal melee damage with a weapon. Big Mike, Nenya, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Do I like to play warrior? Yes. I do. It's one of my favorite classes. Got hyper spawns here.
What's on your mind? Safe travels. See you soon. Well met. Be good.
What can I get for you today?
Talk to me. Off with you.
Alright guys, it has been a fun time. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you all hanging out while I play some Classic Era Classic. I am out of time for today though. So I'm going to park it right here and we will pick things up in Loch Modan tomorrow morning-ish. Thank you guys again for all the support. If you enjoyed hanging out, leaving a like, and making sure you're subbed to the channel, ringing the bell, all of that stuff actually helps out a lot and I appreciate those that do. Until next time guys, take care of yourselves out there in the real world and take care of each other, and we will see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.